Hello friends and welcome to yet another captivating video of Wisdom Zone, and this is Shubro, and I'm quite sure you have already guessed it. Today I have the 12th session on develop your spoken English and become more fluent in your communication. And today I am going to discuss about comparative and superlative forms of adjective, which is quite imperative for everyday English conversation so that you can use the right form of adjective when you are speaking in English. So if you are looking for some great English practice using comparative and superlative forms of adjective, this video is just for you. So watch this video carefully till the end, and again it is my earnest request, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do not wait and subscribe to Wisdom Zone and hit the bell icon so that you can get the first notification of this type of informative videos. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So friends, welcome back once again. So as you see, today I have the 12th session of Develop Your Spoken English, and today in turn I'm going to show you how to use comparative and superlative of adjective and how you can incorporate them in your everyday English conversation, and why it is so important to know the right use of comparative and superlative forms of adjective. Let me tell you before I move forward what I'm going to discuss today. At first I'm going to discuss comparative and superlative forms of adjectives, and I will also show you the rules to form comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. And also thirdly, I'm going to discuss how to use comparative and superlative adjectives in your English conversation, and also give you so many sentences. I'll show you different sentences using comparative and superlative adjectives, and please follow the sentences and practice. And at last I'm going to discuss some latest practice techniques, how we can use comparative and superlative forms of adjectives in your communication. So without further ado, let's get started. So see friends, at first I'm going to discuss what is comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. Comparative, as you see on your screen, comparative adjectives are adjectives which are used to compare. Comparative adjectives compare one thing with another. So as you see the example, Sam is taller than his brother. So I'm comparing one noun with the other noun. Sam is taller than his brother. Okay, so case of comparative, we make a comparison between two, and the superlative adjectives compare two or more things to the highest or lowest degree. Okay, so as you see the example, Sam is the tallest student in the class. So if I'm talking about Sam, who is the tallest, right? So that's why I'm using superlative, highest degree. Understood? So I hope it's crystal clear. Comparative is used to compare one thing with another between two things, and superlative adjectives are used to compare two or more things, okay, to the highest or the lowest degree. So friends, up next we are going to see some important rules to form comparative and superlative forms of adjectives. So let's go ahead and see the first rule. As you see on your screen, the first rule is in case of one syllable adjectives, right? How to form comparative and superlative forms of adjective in case of one syllable adjective. The first rule is that in case of one syllable adjective, we add er and est to the suffix to form comparative and superlative forms. So let's see how to do it. As you see, the first example is tall, so I'm adding er, as I already mentioned, to the suffix and making it comparative, taller. So let me give you an example. Sam is taller than his brother. So this is the comparative. Similarly, I'm adding est to the suffix to form the superlative, that is tallest. So he is the tallest boy in the class. So here I'm using superlative. I'm forming superlative by adding est in case of one syllable adjective. So let's see another example, that is small. So the comparative form is smaller. Same way I'm forming comparative by adding er, and superlative is smallest. I'm adding est as because it's one syllable adjective. Okay, that's the first rule. By adding er and est to the suffix, we can form comparative and superlative forms. So up next we are going to see the second rule. Adjective ending in a vowel and a consonant, we double the consonant, which by doubling the consonant, we also form comparative and superlatives. Let's see some examples, some adjectives. Red. So the comparative is redder. So you must be surprised to know because it is quite uncommon. So red, it's ending with D. I'm adding one more D and again adding ER. So it's becomes the comparative, that is redder. And similarly, I can form the superlative, that is reddest. So again, I'm adding D. Along with that, I'm doubling the D, that is one D is already there, and I'm adding one more D and following it up with the EST, that is reddest. So I hope it's clear. So you can use redder as a comparative and reddest as a superlative. He gave me the reddest rose I have ever seen. So like this way you can use the superlative form of red, that is reddest. And I'm adding D, I'm doubling the consonant and adding EST to form superlative, and to form comparative, I'm just adding ER and doubling the consonant. Let's see the second example, that is sad. Similarly, sad is ending with D, so I'm doubling it. So I'm adding one more D, so it becomes sadder, is the comparative, and saddest is double DEST is the superlative, right? So that's the way to form comparative and superlative, by doubling the consonant, right? So I hope it's crystal clear. So up next, I'm going to show you the third rule. Adjectives ending in E, we add ER and ST to form comparative and superlative. So let's see, as you see the first example, large. Okay, so it's ending, as you see, with E, so I'm adding R. So it's the comparative larger, and superlative is largest. So I am adding ST, adjective to form superlative. You can use larger and compare. So largest is the superlative. So similarly, we can also form comparative and superlative in case of adjectives ending with Y. What we do is that in case of adjectives ending with Y, we take off the Y and add IER to form comparative. As you see, happy becomes happier, and IEST to form superlative. Happier is the comparative and happiest is the superlative. Okay, you can say that I am much happier now than past. So again, you can use the superlative. Is the happiest person I have ever seen. Similarly, we can see the second example, noisy. So again, I'm taking off Y and adding IER, noisier, and the superlative is noisiest. Okay, so in case of adjectives ending with Y, we just take it off and add IER to form comparative and IEST to form superlative. Okay, so I hope it's crystal clear. So up next, I'll show you how to form and comparative and superlative in case of two syllable adjectives or adjective having more than two syllables, three syllables. So in case of adjectives having more than two syllables or two syllable adjective, we use more and most to make comparative and superlatives. We use more and most to make comparative and superlative in case of majority of two syllable adjectives and adjectives having more than three or four syllables, right? So let me give you some example. Beautiful, it is again having more than one syllable. It has more than one syllable, obviously, so we have to use more to form comparative. More beautiful and most beautiful. Okay, so Jane is more beautiful than her sister. She is the most beautiful lady I have ever seen. So like this way you can use. Second is interesting, and you can also add more interesting and most interesting, right? So you add more and most to form comparative and superlative in case of two syllable adjectives and adjectives having more than three or four syllables. So apart from that, there are some exceptions which I'm going to discuss now. So as you see, some exceptions like good. Okay, so good and the comparative is better and the superlative is best. So you have to remember, right? It changes totally, right? Similarly, bad, comparative is worse and superlative is worst. So these are some exceptions you have to remember, right? So I hope it's crystal clear. So up next, I'll show you how to use comparative and superlative adjectives in English conversation. So it is frequently used in spoken English to compare, to talk about unique things. So let me give you some sentences. Let me discuss some sentences. Please see the sentences and practice. So as you see the first sentence, my house is better than Sam's house. Suppose you want to compare something you have with someone else, so that time you can use comparative form, that my house is better than Sam's house, okay, or my house is bigger than Sam's house. So I'm using comparative form. So similarly, you see the next one, my car is the best in the town. So here I'm using superlative, become talking about unique, okay, one among all, right? My car is the best in the town, that means superlative form I have to use when I'm using best. So let's see some more example. Kevin is smarter than his brother. So again, I'm comparing Kevin with his brother. So I'm using comparative form of a smart, which is smarter. Okay. And let's see this next example. Jane is more attractive than her sister. So again, in case of two-syllable adjective, we add more before it. Jane is more attractive than her sister. I'm comparing Jane with her sister. So we can see on most sentence, she is the most attractive lady I have ever seen. So here I'm using superlative, and to form superlative, I'm adding most attractive lady I have ever seen. So like this way, we can use comparative and superlative. Please follow the sentences and practice more and more. It is frequently used and it is very much essential for spoken English. When you want to make comparison, you have to use comparative form of adjectives. When you want to talk about something unique, you have to use the superlative form of adjective, right? So I'm quite sure it's crystal clear, and I'm quite sure you understood how to form comparative and superlative. I hope you understood the rules, right? So, as I have already promised, at last I'm going to discuss some latest practice techniques which you can use to practice and become more confident in use of comparative and superlative forms. So, as you see, latest practice techniques. So, you need to compare your present lifestyle with the lifestyle of past, especially when you were a child. So, you have to discuss how is your lifestyle now you are young, okay? So like this way you can compare and use comparative form of adjective, and by that way you'll be able to rehearse and be perfect in the use of comparative form. Apart from that, you can use comparative or superlative forms to talk about people, your favorite actor, sports person, right? You can use superlative form also here, talk about your favorite actor, the best movie you have seen, and you can talk about the happiest day of your life. So that is also one way to talk about superlatives, right? Happiest day or the saddest day or most memorable day. So here you are using superlative degree, understood? Apart from that, you can talk about your locality, facilities you have now, and compare with the facilities and what was the situation of your locality in the past. So compare your locality, and I'm quite sure you found this video extremely useful because it's a very important topic. Please follow the video step by step, and again see the sentences, how to form sentences using superlative and comparative forms of adjective, and how to form superlative, how to form comparative form, what are the rules I have discussed in details. So I hope you have understood in a crystal clear manner, and try to make more sentences and comment below. And again, it is my earnest request to all the viewers, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do not wait and subscribe to Wisdom Zone and hit the bell icon so that you can get the first notification of this type of informative videos whenever it is published. So stay tuned for further informative videos, and do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Wisdom Zone.